Ho, 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 Tampa Bay. Welcome to the sports bar. I am your favorite Irish Santa Claus. Shooty Claus is what they call me. And I'm here with the Stache. Also,
one and only, baby.
The Grinch. The Stache who stole Christmas.
Perhaps
Is my co-host tonight. And
That's
the Stache wasn't.
me.
Stache, you aren't even going to be here tonight. We have a very special guest and a guest host who I don't even know who this was. The Stache set this up. I still don't know who it is. Yeah. The Stache set this up. We're going to bring him on in a second. And the Stache was going to go to the Raptors game, but decided not to. And he's got a little comment on that as well. What's going on? We can't watch the Raptors, can we?
We can't watch Raptors in Tampa Bay. I mean, I didn't want to start the show out this. I mean, it's our Christmas episode and everything. I didn't want to start with negativity, but we had a little round of the common cold, which still exists. People, it's not just the COVID world. You can still get the common cold in 2020. You can still get a common cold. I got a cold last week. Kind of carried over for a little while, and then my wife, Mrs. Stache, picked it up for me. Of course, So we decided not to make it out to the game tonight. So I stayed. But yeah, we do have a special guest that was supposed to co-host for me. But before we get there, let me just say, I tried then to turn on the Raptors game so I could watch the team playing less than 45 minutes away from me in our very own home arena. Fox Sports, Spectrum, I have these memberships. I have access. And yet, the NBA and Fox decided that we don't need to see this team in our market here at Tampa Bay. We don't need to see the Raptors that are playing just down the street for most of us. We don't need to watch them. We don't need to have access to this team. Why grow this team in a market that they're actually playing in? No. Why do that? Let us not let these people watch this team. Ridiculous. How? What? I mean, I know it's a shortened season. I know there's a lot of other things going on. We're talking about revenue.
Yeah.
Come on.
I think the deal with that is there's TV rights and that they can't play. You think they would figure out how to work it out though, right?
I mean, if it's regional, I understand. Like, I know being blacked out streaming, we can't watch like local games or ever streaming some kind of blackouts. I know that with the Lightning and all that, you can still stream them in market. I don't understand why we can't stream out of market games. That doesn't make sense to me. It does. I don't. Like, if you have Fox Sports and you have Fox Sports Go and I have the cable package that gives me all with Spectrum, all the sports, and I can't watch the freaking Raptors play a game 45 minutes away from my front door. I mean, that's just to me.
You got to go to the game.
Hey, I already tweeted at him. Don't get me wrong. I already tried my measly little attempt at social media justice. I tweeted at the NBA and at Fox, and I included the Raptors in the tweet. So maybe somebody who's somewhere obligatory will see it and say, "Hey, this guy's got a good point here. We're missing out on some money."
Well, for sure, if you tweeted, like, changes will be made. I mean, it's only a matter of time.
I'm just saying.
All right. So what do we have going on tonight? Well, we're going to be streaming for a while, folks. We're going to do
our Christmas episode.
Show. We're going to do it. We're going to do the regular show. We're going to post that up on the podcast feed when we're done. We're going to take a small break, and then we're going to do Jackbox. And if you never played Jackbox, probably won't be for about 45 minutes to an hour until we get cracking, but you can play along with us on your phone. So
from your very own seat.
But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the Bucs. They had a big comeback win over the Falcons, leading their way to the playoffs, looking real strong there. We're going to talk about a little bit about the Tampa Bay Lightning. They are back. The NHL has announced some dates. The Lightning have started to sign some guys. Kucherov is apparently not playing this season, so we'll get to that.
Regular season. That's regular season.
Regular season, true. Next generation, we're going to talk about the gaming system. So we talked a little bit about that new game that Stache and I have been playing, the Cyberpunk 2077. But I want to see who's out there, who's a PS5 guy versus an Xbox guy. And you don't even have to put PS5 up there. You can say PlayStation versus Xbox. And why? Because I don't know the difference. To me, it's the same crap, different machine. And then this is the one we want to hear from the comments. We want to hear about, what are your, this is the Christmas episode. What are your holiday traditions? I know a lot of people go down to like, what is it called? Indian Shores is like a big neighborhood with a bunch of decorations. St. Pete's got a neighborhood down there. What do you guys normally do around Tampa Bay for the holidays? Do you go to, what do they call it at Busch Gardens? They do like the Winter Wonderland something at Busch Gardens. Obviously, I've never been. Actually, I have been once. And you know what I noticed? I have a picture of it. They had a list of who's on Santa Claus's naughty list, and my name was on there. Shooty was on the list, believe it or not. I don't know how that happened. But anyway, let's bring our guest again.
I think our guest host might know how that happened. But
Stache wasn't going to be here.
I wasn't going to be here.
And he lined up a special mystery guest. Wouldn't tell me who it was. Wanted it to be a surprise. And I don't know if this guy's an expert in the Bucs, the Bolts, PlayStations, Tampa Bay holiday traditions. I don't know who this is or what they're in for or what we're in for, I guess.
Hey, you think I would bring on somebody that didn't check every single one of those boxes? Of course I did.
Oh, this
Come on. Enough him and her. Let's get the co-host on here. Let's bring him on.
Let's bring him on. Let's see who this is. It looks like
hey,
this is
hello guys. Thanks for having me.
What is not Buck what you heard? What's
definitely not. It's definitely not.
Yeah,
what's going on here, guys?
Buck what you heard. It's definitely
not Gene from Buck what you heard. I just want to know why is he banned from your shows?
He doesn't talk about the Bucs kicking situation enough. And I believe that Ryan Suckup should get a lot more love, and he just completely ignores them.
He really likes Stache. He thinks Stache is amazing. Stache,
well, I mean,
the brains of the outfit.
He always gets a pass for me. I mean, I'm just saying, it's a pass for me.
If you don't mind, guest mystery host, can you take off your glasses and mask and
social distancing? Sorry,
this is kind of like a bad episode of The Masked Singer. the
Masked Analyst. That's right here. The Masked Analyst, people.
Wait a minute.
Oh, it is Gene. Scooby-Doo, motherfucker. Scooby-fucking-Doo.
That's right.
Wait, this is something I said would never. I wouldn't allow this. I wouldn't allow this. The injustice that this man does to Bucs kicking or kickers. Bucs kicking. So Bucs kickers is not fair. But you know what? It's the holiday season, and I'm gonna let you ride this one out. I'm gonna let you.
Thank you,
the sports bar here.
Welcome.
The sports bar is an equal opportunity sports bar. All are welcome, and you know what? I'll make a one-time exception for you since you've got a drink in hand. And hey, boys, December 23rd, 2020 is almost over. So let's cheers together. If this is your first time tuning into the sports bar, I'm Shooty Claus. I do this every week and dress up as Santa Claus every week.
I'm the Stache. What we do, I'm always looking like a champion every week.
And I'm the Grinch.
That's all 100% accurate. There you go.
I think Stache has had that shirt on every episode.
That's not true. Actually, I wore my hoodie. I think the first 2 episodes does look similar to this, but it was not this shirt. Oh, but it was Stanley Cup champion gear. Yeah, so it was.
Aiden's in the house with his opinions. Yeah, we want to hear. We want to hear about why you think PlayStation's better, why you think Xbox is better. We also want to hear about those.
Well, I want to know
traditions in and around.
Nobody can get one, so
here's what I want to. Well, I mean, you're talking about PlayStation 5 and Xbox One S, because I tell you right now, the Xbox One S is definitely smaller and cleaner than the PlayStation 5 in my book. I mean, I don't think it necessarily looks better, but it's smaller and cleaner for sure.
Well, let's wait for it.
We won't skip ahead. I just want to say, if you're commenting also, and go ahead, you can comment throughout. We'll come back to you. We'll post your comments as we get to the topics. But if you're saying PlayStation, have you played both? Have you ever only played PlayStation and you're saying it's better? If that's the case, then I'm not going to crap on you. That doesn't mean really much. If you've played both consistently, then that's kind of when we're going to get a comparison contrast. That's all I'm saying. If you only played one, then speak to your system. I wouldn't say speak against the other. If you've played both, then let me know what you think about both. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. First and foremost, man, we got Gene in the house. We got our Buck What You Heard in the house. And we also, I'm watching it right now, the replay. The only part of it that matters, the second half of the Buccaneers' best two quarters of football I've seen in probably 20 fucking years, if you ask me. That was some really damn good football. What do you think, Gene? What'd you see in that game? How'd you feel at the end of it? How do you feel coming in this next week?
I feel different this year than I do in previous years, because if this was last year or this was 2018 or 2017, I don't think the Bucs are winning that game. I'm going outside. I'm probably going to go shopping or, go do yard work or watch paint dry or something. But when you looked at this game and what the Atlanta Falcons MO has been all year, I mean, they blow leads. That's just what they do. I mean,
Brady started that.
You were brought on this earth to do the sports bar. I mean, the Atlanta Falcons were put on this earth to blow leads, and that's what they do.
Yeah.
So I was happy with the win. I don't know if you guys know. If you guys haven't watched my show, you know that I do hate the Atlanta Falcons with a passion, and they're right up there with the Dallas Cowboys. And I do not want them to ever win anything. And I'm even twice as happy that Tom Brady is here because he put them in the tailspin that they're in right now.
Yeah, he started it. He started it all in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I watched that game. I remember.
And this team has never been the same since.
Never. Matty Ice hasn't been the same since. No.
He's ruined.
Yeah, ruined him. And Brady's ruined him again. And do you think there's any chance that they're going to have like any kind of fight in the last game of the season now? No. I don't think so.
No.
I hope not. But anyway, Gene, I hear your food is here.
Exactly.
You've got snacks.
Actually Chinese.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Nice.
But yeah, so the Bucs, anyone that watched that game knows what happened. They went down 17-0 in the first half, but it was to the Falcons, so we weren't too worried about it because, as Stache alluded to, they are the Falcons. and what they do is they blow leads. So I actually tweeted, I don't know if you caught it. I tweeted at halftime the tweet of the day, which was the Bucs are up, or no, the Falcons are up 17-0 over the Bucs. The Bucs have them right where they want them. And man, I got 0 likes on that post until after the game when I had to retweet it because nobody saw that pure genius because everyone was freaking panicking at halftime. But did the same thing against the Chargers.
Well, a couple weeks ago too. Yeah. This, here's the thing, okay? And I tweeted about this. I commented about this on social medias too. I didn't get to see the first half. I was doing other things. I just moved my family into the house the day before Sunday. I was just kind of getting my head back together, my headspace back together. Suddenly I look up the clock. It was like a little after 2, maybe 2:30. I'm like, oh, damn, the Bucs play at 1. Crap, 1 o'clock game. Okay, so I turned it on, and it was right.
Oh, the best part.
Yeah, it was right when the Buccaneers had scored. I didn't see that first touchdown of the second half, but I saw Atlanta's possession. And when they came back and scored the answering touchdown, I was like, okay, let's see now what the Buccaneers have. And I just watched that drive. As we were starting the show. And, man, the way that they used Fournette, and the way that they started calling plays in the second half, that's the best Byron Leftwich I've ever seen as a play caller. He looked like he finally knew what the fuck to do with all the weapons he has. He finally figured it out in the second half of this game. And if he could just figure out a way to be a little bit more creative coming into the game so teams aren't able to scheme for him so well, because that's what's really happening. The guy is kind of getting out coached in the first half. He's getting out prepared, I think. And he's making better adjustments in the second half in these games, So that's the best play calling I've seen out of him. That's some of the best, the most locked in I've seen Brady and Evans. That's the most I've seen them on the same page. And they still weren't 100% on the same page, but they were like 85, 90% on the same page. and the play calling, as a matter of fact, like I said, that the game-winning touchdown, the play to AB, I freaking called it. I called it. They came and they ran the ball effectively on the last drive, and they came out in the beginning of that drive and had 2 run plays that were good, effective run plays, and they came up with the jumbo package at the line, and I said, this is going to be a play pass. And it wasn't a play action, but because they were lined up in the run, they still bit on the run play. So they didn't even have to. It was such a good play call. They didn't even have to do a play action. They just let Fournette go up and block, and they had AB wide open. He was gone. He had to slow down. He came off the line so fast and so free. He had to slow down for that ball a little bit. And that was a perfect ball from Brady. Like, it wasn't that it was underthrown. Yeah. It's just that he got off the line better than he even should have. And I called that. And I said, this is the perfect play call. And he called it, and they hit it perfect. And it was just amazing. It was amazing to watch him actually call what almost was a perfect half of football as an offensive play caller.
Wow. We have to get Gene's opinion on that once he gets back, because he is a serious Byron hater.
Oh, me too. You know it. I've been on record saying how I don't like QBs as offensive coordinators at all. But I'm telling you, he found a way to get Leonard Fournette, and that's 2 weeks in a row, because he did the same thing last week with Rojo. He got both those guys heavily involved in the offense, both running the ball and out of the backfield, and it was I think you're seeing him finally find his rhythm with some of the weapons he has. Hopefully, like I said, they got to start in the first quarter, especially if they get to the playoffs. We start talking playoffs, and I think they're well over 90% now to make the playoffs. You got to start faster.
Yeah, I agree. And they got to learn how to run the ball a little bit more consistently. I like, and I'm not a Rojo hater. I think Rojo's the best running back on the team. But the things that I liked about Fournette, and I know he's dropped the ball in the past, but when he catches the ball out in the flat, or when he, or even McCoy, the thing I like about those guys over Rojo is those guys can make a man miss. Rojo can't really. Rojo's more of like a pounded running back. He's not as shifty as those guys. Right. And you saw Fournette actually catch the ball a couple times.
He made a guy miss.
Made him miss. And we have been missing that for so long.
Yeah,
it feels like we can't get a guy that can make a miss. So I hope, I hope they keep pounding it up the middle with Rojo. But I hope they put in some more of these plays where they're hitting these running backs on the edges and making these guys miss on those flat passes. We'll bring Gene back on. Gene, you missed it. The Stache was praising Byron Leftwich for his amazing play calling during the second half. Would you agree with that?
And I don't like him either. Just so you know, I don't like him any more than you do. But I was incredibly impressed with the way he came back in the second half and was getting all his weapons involved.
Yeah, and the fact that they were catching the ball and there was a little bit more touch on the ball. The pass to Antonio Brown. We've seen passes to Antonio Brown where they've been this close, just barely missing. And I think they're starting to get that timing. And to me, that's something that has been missed here. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, look at the play calling. The play calling's bad. If they hit these passes, the passes that were dropped, we're not having this discussion anymore. So I understand the play calling and the cadence and getting with the flow of the game, but at the same time, if Gronk catches that ball up the middle, if AB catches that pass where he's running, Scotty Miller catches on a go route instead of throwing it over his head or him dropping it, it's a whole nother story. So I think the plays can work. It's just a matter of timing and execution, and I don't think that gets talked about enough.
Yeah, that's very fair and good observation for sure. But at the same time, where you're going, this is what I was talking about. That exact play, the AB touchdown that was the game-winning play. They come out on the previous drive and committed to the run. Even on the two touchdown drives, they committed to the run. Right, they had 3 touchdowns and a field goal there. So the 2 touchdowns, especially that first, or 3 touchdowns, but the ones I saw. So that touchdown drive with Fournette, we were talking about. He caught it. The one he caught in the flat made the guy miss. It was like a 13 or 14 yard pass play. That was a key play on that drive, and he got the touchdown. But yeah, that play with AB, they came in a jumbo package after running the ball 2 times and having established a run in the previous drives. And I was like, this needs to be a go route to AB. And boom, there it was. And it was a touchdown. And he almost overrun it. Yeah, he almost overran it because he got such a free release because they were looking for a 100% run. And I said play action, and they had him so sold just from the package. They didn't even have to run the play action. They just, it was like a half play action. You know what I mean? Like it was almost, it was a perfect play call. It was a perfect play call, and they executed it. Like you said, they executed it as well perfectly. So it was a beautiful half of football. Like I said, some of the best football I've seen out of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in maybe 20 years, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the Bucs have just had that, and the Green Bay game, another game where the second half they just looked amazing. There was a 2-minute drill. I mean, Brady is the master 2-minute drill. And what do you guys think? I know they started out slow. Why not run a 2-minute drill right out the gates?
Well,
that
I think
could that work? Is that, I mean, again, I'm not a head coach or scout or anything like that, but could that work? I mean, just out of the gate, first quarter, you get the ball, 2-minute drill, and you just drive down the field. Can that work? This would get Tom Brady in a rhythm. You would get certain players involved, and you got the defense on their heels. Is that something possibly that they could do?
I'd like to see a version of it at least. Yeah. Maybe not 100%.
Maybe like a sugar huddle.
Yeah, absolutely. A hurry up, an absolute kind of no huddle. You're only running like a 20 seconds in between play clock. In between plays instead of using the whole 40 or whatever. You know what I mean? Absolutely. And also, I just think being a little bit more fundamental starting out. With kind of like what you're saying, just get Brady going, get the running back more involved in the pass game, just coming out and some of those catches in the flat. What I thought they also did very effectively in the second half was using those quick passes to the outside. And not a lot of people I see on Facebook and Twitter like all the commentators that we get, but I thought Moose and Sterator did a good job. Yeah, and Moose was talking about how far they were playing off, and if you're going to give that to them, and they're going to be 10 yards off your guy, get it in Miller's hands right away. Get it in Godwin's hands right off the snap. That's as good as a 4-yard run. You know what I mean? So they were doing that very effectively. So
I hate Joe Buck.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I know. We won't let the fact that I'm a Cowboys fan come between us. All right?
Oh no, not at all. Not at all.
Hey, shout out to
I hate Aikman as a commentator. So. Yeah, what's up,
by the way,
what's going on, X?
Anyone out there? I guess you're meeting up with Jeans next Wednesday. Yeah. Watch out wherever you're going to be. Hey, but yeah, Merry Christmas, X, and everyone out there. And by the way, we're looking for some opinions. Everyone's got one, just like your a-holes. Next generation. Are you a PlayStation person? Are you an Xbox person? We want to know what one and why. And we're also looking for your Tampa Bay holiday traditions. Are there Tampa Bay holiday traditions, or are they just your family?
I'll give a sneak peek of where I ride. You can see where I ride right there.
Whoa. That's what the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
There's you know what?
I think that's a 2077 controller.
And not to jump ahead, but I compare it like Apple to Android.
Yeah, it really is.
Android, it's personal preference.
It really is.
It is.
I've actually got a vendetta with Microsoft, but that's enough. We can talk about that another time.
That'll happen.
I'm personally a whore for Microsoft, so hey.
I want to ask you about the Bucs a little bit more, because for anyone that doesn't know about Buck, what you heard, was Buck what you heard the first Bucs podcast?
I think there was what the Buck was doing his thing about that time as well.
But you were still one of the first Bucs podcasts that were out there, probably.
OG, baby.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say the first, but I was pretty
one of the first. Yeah, I mean, a lot of them that started back then are not still going.
Yeah, I guess 90. Remember 98.7 The Fan?
Oh yeah,
I do.
Okay, So 98.7 The Fan, they were competing. I can't remember the WDAF or whatever that stupid radio station.
Never heard of them.
620 or whatever they were. I called in. I used to call in all the time because, I got an opinion. I was a former season ticket holder, and, I just want to get my voice heard. So I called in to 98.7 The Fan, and the guy hung up on me because I told him, I was like, the Bucs are going to win this game. And he laughed at me because the Bucs were like horrible. And I was like super insulted by it. I was like, well, what were fans supposed to call in and root for their team? If I'm this guy and I'm saying, hey, I think the Bucs are going to win, you should at least, engage that or be entertained by it. And he hung up on me. Needless to say, the Bucs won that game. And I called back in. I was like, I called in last week. You guys hung up on me. And it looks like the Bucs won. And he hung up on me again. So I was like, you know what? At this point, I'm like, this station, all the stations are doing a disservice to the Bucs listeners out there, to season ticket holders, fans that go to games. And if you've invested your time in this team, I would say over the past decade, you are a super fan because they have not given you anything to root for the most part. And the fact that you stuck with this team, you're a super fan. And I wanted to be able to give people a voice to say, hey, call in or I'll interact with you. If I can't get you on the phone, I'll get your tweets out here. I'll get your messages out here. I want people to be able to interact with us, like what you're doing. Your show is fan-centric, and there needs to be more of that. That's why I don't watch ESPN. I don't watch CBS Sports. I don't watch any of that. I want to talk to the people locally that are invested in his teams, whether it's the Lightning, the Rays, the Bucs, just whoever, the Mutiny, whoever it is. That's where it's at right there. And to me, television is a dying breed. Radio's dying. With COVID, it's shown us that you could have a podcast and make it work and be successful. So that's why, I support guys like you and, just these other local podcasts. And I want to try to put everybody over that I can.
Yeah, I think the thing about a lot of and obviously there's a lot of Bucs ones and there's a lot of really good ones that are out there is to me they're just as good. They're just as good and
they're
more
even
so
better.
they're more passionate. If you look at WDAE, I mean a lot of those guys are from New York. It's like New York South over there.
Yeah, dude.
So
and
it's their job.
If you want to talk about strip clubs, if you want to talk about strip clubs or what you did the night before,
or where to go, get your fucking workout in or whatever, you know what I mean? Or what food you're eating, or what new fucking business venture you're in, or who you're supporting this week, or what your new harebrained scheme is, then that's your fucking station, I guess. You know what I mean? But you want to come in, you want to talk about actual Tampa Bay sports, you want to be a fan, come hang out with us. And that's what I like about you, Gene. And that's why, we give you a lot of shit. And I like the fact that we feud and we do our little social media thing. But I love having this kind of community that we're building together, And yeah, me and Shooty are kind of getting a little pissed off. We're getting our feathers ruffled a little bit, but we've been going out this a while too. You know what I mean? And
I know.
And it's time for us all to kind of stand up and start putting our foot down and be like, you know what? Screw you guys. If you guys want to sit there on the radio and pump yourselves up and act like some fucking superheroes or some superstars, do it. But I'm done helping you guys out. I'm done tweeting your stuff. I'm done sharing your stories. If you can't share my shit, I'm done sharing your shit. And I'm going to say that right now. I mean, we will continue to pump ourselves up. We will pump you up. But that, you know what I'm saying? I'm done with these people that want to come and act like they give a shit about this place. We've been toiling for 20 years plus. You guys, even longer. A lot of people grew up and live here their whole lives.
Exactly.
We're invested. We're invested.
Exactly.
Even as a Cowboys fan and grew up for I'm 38 years I've been a Cowboys fan. Since I was 2 years old, the first time I understood what football was, I said, I'm a star. How can I not shine? But I've been in Tampa Bay for almost 20 years now, and how can you not become a Bucs fan if you love football? And if you've been here, you're invested, and I'm invested. And these guys aren't fucking invested, man. And that's
they've shown you who they are. Remember the driver's license thing where you could get it was the Arizona Cardinals, and WDAE did some harebrained gimmick with the. You remember that, Shooty?
Yeah. You had like they were giving out tickets to someone that had an Arizona
driver's license.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they were looking out for Cardinals fans. They didn't say if you've got Hillsborough County or if you got 336 or something like that in the zip code on your driver's license, we'll hook you up with a ticket. No,
Right.
This was it. You got an Arizona license, that was a straw for me. I have not listened to them. I used to listen to them off and on, but when that happened, I was done. I was like, I don't know why more people weren't upset about it. And people just kind of go back to it, I guess, because it's the only game in town. But again, you got all these podcasts, all these great podcasts. And, you guys, I really hope that you guys build your brand up even more than what you're doing. This is a great idea. I love the sports bar. I think it's great.
Thanks, man.
Wait till we can do it live on location someday. We've got some spots lined up. Which, by the way, can I give a shout out to where I ordered dinner from?
Yeah, please.
It's not technically a sports bar, but it's a local place, I believe. Craft Street. You ever been to Craft Street? Trinity, Clearwater. I think might be one other location.
There's a handful. Really sprinkled throughout the bay.
One of the only places where you can get some different dishes. Like I ate gumbo tonight. Like where other places can you? There's not many other places. There are places, but there's not many where you can order.
Pretty sure I blacked out last time.
It's fun. It's fun to make.
Well, and one of their flagship liquors is Whistle Pig, which
Whistle Pig whiskey.
I know very well,
very intimately.
And not that many other places have that. So shout out to them for supplying my dinner. And that is, I don't have a belly full of jelly tonight. I have a belly full of gumbo and delicious Whistle Pig.
Good for you. Good for you. I have a belly full of.
Hey, shout out to UX, man. Going back to work, man. Thanks for checking us out.
Yeah, bro. Love you, bro.
Yes, sir.
This is Tampa, right? This is what I'm talking about. This is Tampa right here.
That's right.
He is from Tampa, just like we are, and that's what it's all about.
And Merry Christmas. So anyone else that's out there, PS5 or Xbox, and why? And I guess I don't have to say PS5. I could just say PlayStation
or Xbox.
And holiday
playoffs just for a minute.
Yeah, let's
wrap
up the stuff with playoffs. What's going to happen? Will the Bucs make the playoffs?
The Bucs need to get there, and all bets are off. You guys are Bolts fans. You can, as long as you grind through the regular season and you get to the playoffs, anything's possible. We've seen that from the Bolts year in and year out, whether it's negative or positive. Once you get there, it's a whole different game.
It's not
everybody
win.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody is like, oh, well, they've been doing bad in the first half, so they're not going to make it in the playoffs. No, we don't know what they're going to do. They could put it all together. And that could be that game that steamrolls them into the Super Bowl. We don't know that.
Listen, Tony Romo, my boy, that's my quarterback. 2 weeks ago, sat here and watched this team and said they're going to be in the Super Bowl. He said that Tampa Bay, Kansas City game was going to be a rematch, or it was going to be a preview, and the Super Bowl was going to be a rematch of that game. He said, sitting there watching, he thinks it's going to be Brady and Mahomes playing each other at the Super Bowl. Who am I to argue with freaking Tony Romo? I mean, ever since he became a broadcaster, that guy's been 100% on point. Am I wrong? That guy hasn't missed a beat as a broadcaster.
He's probably one of my favorite broadcasters to listen to. I love how his mind, just how his mind works. He'll break down a play. He actually pre-snap reads with the quarterback before he's looking over the defense, and he's telling you what he's seeing.
He knows the hot routes. He knows where the quick route is. He knows where the coverage is. He's like, oh, you're 1 over, you're 2 over. You're. This is why you got a guy in motion. And he was even saying, and oh, I just saw it right there. The play to Antonio Brown, by the way. The play I called.
It's beautiful.
I had my own little Tony Romo moment right there, actually. But unfortunately, I was alone in the house. But like I said, the family had moved in the new home, and my wife and son were at work and playing, so I was by myself. But anyways, I digress. Tony Romo, it came in, and like I said, the way he calls it, he tells you, hey, Tom Brady needs more pre-snap movement so he can that's how he reads defenses. He can play against any defense. He just needs to know what it is. And his little trick, his little thing is motion. You put a guy in motion, that is basically forcing your defense to show your cards.
And they started doing that. They've started doing
ever
that.
since that game. They
They'll
have
line up.
done way more pre-snap motion, and they have gotten the running back involved in the passing game way more. And you're seeing the results. So, how can I say if this team makes the Super Bowl or the playoffs and they're peaking the way they are right now, this is a dangerous team because that defense is no joke.
Because I'm looking up and down the NFC, and I realize that the Saints beat the Bucs.
Shaky right now.
I'm sorry. I just believe that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if they faced them a third time, the Bucs would win that game. I really believe that.
Especially if Breeze is the quarterback. Like, it doesn't seem like he's the same guy.
Dude, you just had like 16 of your ribs,
bro. That's you only have like 24, like what, 32 ribs or some shit like that. You know what I mean? That's half your ribs are broken and a deflated lung. Yo, that's serious shit, bro. Come on.
You don't just walk away from that, bro.
No, you don't just go back to playing football. So, I mean,
and you're paranoid of getting hit and all this other stuff. I mean, you had Jalen effing Hurts coming in there and doing what he did. I mean, it just and that Philadelphia defense was able to affect Drew Brees, and he just, I don't know if it's his first game back.
They're not that great.
That
Philly team isn't good.
No, and their backup, Taysom Hill. I'm here to tell you right now, Taysom Hill is not a quarterback. Not a quarterback.
He's not.
I would argue anybody on that point.
No, you're right.
So watch Matty Ice completely miss his wide.
Melted ice. Oh, what, or natty ice?
I love that. No, dude, I love that melted ice. Oh,
because
then he took a sack right after it. He missed the wide open guy in the seam route for a touchdown late in the fourth, and then they came back and they got the sack on the next play. That might have been the most
typical Dirk Cutter offense.
Yep.
Let's count our blessings that we are not Atlanta Falcons podcasters.
Oh my goodness!
Can you imagine,
dude? If I lived in Atlanta, do you understand? I could never. Never. I spent a lot of time in that area.
I hate Atlanta.
It's the worst. It's the worst city I've ever been to in my entire life, and I've been to all of them.
I would put Atlanta and Cincinnati real close to each other.
I've avoided Ohio like the plague, so I can't really talk about it that much. I just know how bad it sucks, so I don't need to experience it myself in person. Shout out to all my Ohio peeps. I have a lot of friends and good people from Ohio, but guess where they live?
Here,
not in Ohio. Yeah. So
I used to work for a medical software company, and we used to have to. A lot of the doctors that purchased the software were in Ohio, and Ohio and Soviet Utah were like two of the worst places that I've had to visit. So.
Yeah, I don't know why in the Navy there was just this running joke that anytime someone told you they were from Ohio, you were supposed to literally laugh in their face. Like literally, you're from Ohio. Like that was it. And like it started boot camp. So like, and then you were just trained in the Navy. Anytime someone was from Ohio, laugh in their face and point at them and ridicule them from being from Ohio. And I was from New Mexico and people did do that shit to me. And like, well, that's mostly because people didn't even know New Mexico was a state. They thought I, was trying to get my green card by joining the military.
Area 51, baby.
That's right. Well, it's Nevada, but Roswell. But anyways, see, there you go. Nobody fucking knows New Mexico. But anyways,
wait a minute. Where's the place where the aliens are?
That's
Nevada, Area 51. But the crash landing was Roswell, New Mexico.
Roswell. That's what I'm thinking. Roswell.
Yeah. Sorry. There was also a CW show about it called Roswell. I lived, by the way, in Roswell, New Mexico. I have officially lived in Roswell. So my dad was a co-owner of a taxidermy business, actually, in Roswell, New Mexico. We used to go run trap lines, hunt fox,
Did you have
badgers,
a competition with that?
Not down there. Well, I mean, I don't remember. I was stiff competition. That's funny.
Sorry, bro. Dad joke. Sorry.
Hey, we're all
Did you
dads.
ever stuff any aliens?
I can neither confirm nor deny these allegations.
Okay. What about bright lights above you?
Oh, constantly. And I also lived pretty close to Highway 666 when I went to high school. And they actually have since now changed the number on that, by the way. It's no longer numbered 666. But yeah. And actually the most technically supernaturally or not supernatural, extraterrestrial active areas on the planet is a certain stretch of 666, pretty right, like right along the New Mexico Arizona state line.
Aliens runway.
Yeah, yep, right close to where I live, like only a couple hours away.
When you talk about that, I mean, Topeka, Kansas, their zip code is 666.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that makes sense too. You know why? Because Kansas is basically the second worst place in America next to Ohio.
Yep. The what was it? The Stoll Church was the seventh gateway to hell.
Shooty Shoots apologizes to any viewers from the great state of Ohio. I give no fucks.
Hey, this is all made in jest.
There's nobody
for you.
Ohio.
For you,
go for it.
I'm being 100% honest.
We like Ohio.
You know how the Buckeyes have their OHIO right chant. Mine is OH. Oh no.
Going back to the alien talk, it's funny that you guys brought that up because I was gonna go all conspiracy theories on one of the.
Let's make it happen.
Maybe we don't have any holiday traditions yet, so maybe we'll have to switch to that.
We also don't have any viewers yet.
Yeah, that's
crab boil.
Right.
Crab boil is the best Tampa tradition.
Oh, nice. I like it.
See, I can't even do that because half my household here is allergic to crabs.
Ridiculous.
Sucks.
Now, are we talking about crabs or crabs?
Crabs.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, you only have 4 people. You only have 4 people in your house, and 2 of them are adults. So
I have to ask the tough questions here. I'm sorry. I have
to. This is why I tabbed you to come in and fill in for me if I wasn't going to be here because hey, you're like me. You take them to the carpet.
No one's right. Ask about my crabs. All right, Bucs. Let's wrap this.
So about your crabs, are you doing anything to treat them?
Yes, twice a day, shampoo, thorough.
You got to give them a good scrubbing.
Like maybe oatmeal scrub or something.
You sound like you know a lot about this.
It's on the internet.
It's on the internet. It's for the crabs.
It's saved in your Google searches. That's strange. It's like
all you got to do is type in H, and it just immediately puts in 5 words. How to deal with crabs. I mean, one letter automatically brings it up.
It's the first thing that pops up, man. It's not my fault. Don't shoot the messenger here.
That would happen to anybody. It could happen to anybody that just types in H in the search bar.
Yeah. When I see that you also search for Dick's, I'm sure that was for Dick's Sporting Goods as well, right?
Dick's as well, yes.
Exactly.
Sure. All right, Bucs. Let's wrap this Bucs talk up. The Bucs are looking good. They're going to make the playoffs. They're not in yet, but they basically have to win one more game against Detroit or Atlanta. So barring an epic collapse by a bunch of great players, which I don't think is going to happen, they're in the playoffs. But what are they actually going to do? Because I'm not as high on the Bucs as you guys are, because I think there's holes in the defense. I think the offense is way too inconsistent to be a playoff winning team. And they might prove me wrong. These next 2 games, they might just take off. And then if they do, that's a really good sign. But what's going to happen when the Bucs make the playoffs?
Well, I've got a couple bottles of champagne. As you well know, or you may not know, if you follow me on Twitter, I have actually made a deal with NFL Jesus that I will give up. I've totally given up beer until just the season's over for the Bucs.
Wow. Or until they make the playoffs.
That's a hard commitment.
No, I've given up beer until the season is over for the Bucs.
That means the Super Bowl if they win, right?
If they go to the Super Bowl, yeah.
So you won't be able to drink beer while watching them play the Super Bowl?
No, I will be forced to either drink champagne or do shots or a little bit of Gino Grigio here. Just
be drinking wine all playoffs.
Yeah,
it's really cheap at the box and Target, and it's pretty solid. Let me just so you know.
but yeah, I've totally given up beer from what was it, Sunday? I think it was Sunday. I said, you know what? If we can get to if the Bucs get to the playoffs and into the playoffs, I've given up beer. So I have done that. And I will be sticking to that, just because I want to see this team win another Super Bowl in my lifetime.
That sounds like the key to winning the Super Bowl is you stopping drink beer. So keep it up.
That's monumental. It's never happened before. I'm 28.5 beers. 28.5 beers per carry.
next Bucs game that Joe Buck calls, I bet he brings this up. He's going to be like, "Did you know that there is a man named Gene who has the Buck What You Heard podcast, and I heard he gave up beer
He's
and
gone
the team
all
has
in.
lost it."
He's gone all in and given up on beer, everybody. Beer. Not all liquor. This guy's hardcore and just gave up beer.
Maybe we've been talking about like next animation since we're
What would you
changing
guys
up.
give up? What would you guys give up to get the Bucks into the Super Bowl?
Well, I know that the Stank Bastard from Loose Cannons has
He's done
given
enough.
up
He's done enough in
sex
his life.
with his wife. If
For
the
Gronk-
Bucks
for Gronk-
signed Brady, right? And that
Yeah,
happened.
and Gronk. It started out as 6 months, and then with Gronk, it was a whole year.
We need to have him on. I guarantee you he did not stick with that, and I don't blame him for not sticking.
I beg to differ.
What
What
was the bet? What was the bet?
If the Bucks got signed Tom Brady, he wasn't gonna have sex with his wife.
Oh, that's bullshit. How long have they been married?
For a minute.
Yeah, that's not. That's like you giving up beer, Gene. Shut the fuck up. Move on. Next.
Here's Gene on Saturday.
Does he still have Pornhub? Did he give up porn too?
I don't think so.
Right, there you go.
Now, if I would have said
that's a sacrifice, okay.
The thing is, if I would have said, "Well, I've given up all alcohol," that would have been
that's a commitment, bro. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying.
But the fact that I love beer as much as I do, I walked by the beer aisle today in the store, and it was like that long lost love that you have, and you see her, and she sees you.
Bro, but if you tell me you drink Bud Light and you say you give up beer, I'm gonna kick you off my show, and you will be banned 100%. Please tell me Bud Light is not your fucking beer.
No.
Please tell me you drink some kind of decent craft beer, not like craft beer, but like just come on, decent beer.
Yeah. I mean, like this year, it's been Cigar City.
Okay. Have you ever had this is upside down because they're being funny. Stone. Are you familiar with Stone Brewing?
Yeah. You know, it's funny, and hopefully I won't get fired for saying this, but I work for a GPS company, and Stone is one of our customers.
Oh hell yes, dude! They're my jam, bro. And if you ever get out to Cali, and you can get out to Escondido and their world headquarters, do it. It is worth it. It is worth the effort, the trip, and everything. If you love beer and you love food and you love the culture, because we wouldn't have craft, as far as I'm concerned. And I've been in Tampa for over 20 years. I watched this complete craft beer movement occur.
It needed to happen. It really needed to happen.
Stone was at the forefront of all of it. Stone was one of the reasons that we have craft beer like we do in America right now.
It needed to happen. I'm sorry. Budweiser, they're the biggest bunch of dicks I've ever seen in my life. They're just assholes.
And Anheuser-Busch can kiss my ass, dude.
Yeah, basically.
I grew up drinking KOB, brother. I grew up on the KOB. That was my shit. That's the king of beers, by the way, in case any of the listeners don't know the abbreviations. KOB was my shit. But as soon as I found out about real beer and about the history of beer and about all the other nations of the world that brew beer and the way that they approach beer, and then I found out about the way America approached beer after the Prohibition and how all these three main families came in and ruined all the small town breweries that we're finally getting back now. How many 100 years later or whatever? It's ridiculous. 150 years almost now.
I don't know if you remember Smokey and the Bandit, where you couldn't take beer across.
Go and go. Short time to get there. We gonna do what they say can't be done.
And it was so I have to tell this story. Hopefully my dad's not watching because he'll be pissed. But my dad was stationed in Fort Riley, Kansas. So we would drive from Fort Riley. We would drive to Tampa. And we couldn't bring a whole bunch of toys or anything like that. We couldn't pack all this stuff in the car because my dad had cases upon cases upon cases upon cases of beer in the trunk of the car. It was Coors. Could never in my life. I mean, and this was I had an epiphany. I think it was maybe 30, and I was watching Smokey and a Bandit. And at that very moment, I realized that my dad was a fucking bootlegger. Excuse me.
I've already dropped like 8 F-bombs minimum.
My dad, the guy that's like, oh, well, you can't do that. In my day, we didn't do that. Blah, blah, blackety, blackety, blackety. And I'm sitting here and I'm watching Smokey and the Bandit, and they're moving Coors beer to Atlanta. And I'm like, wait a minute. My dad used to bring Coors beer to Florida.
My dad was a fucking bandit.
So I'm sitting here. I'm like, we could have all been killed. You know, if they would have figured out my dad's a bootlegger and pulled him over, we could have all been murdered or something. Get some small town sheriff beating me with a phone book, beating his 5-year-old kid with a phone book or something like that, wanting a confession out of me or something. And it just dawned on me. And then I started doing more research. And I realized just how much of a monopoly Anheuser-Busch had.
Yeah.
On the East Coast and, you know, the southern states and just how they handle business. And at that point, I was like, okay, I'll never drink another Budweiser, Bud Light, whatever. Fuck those guys. I'm done with
those guys. Once again, Shooty Claus is being super PC on the sports bar, which is not the way we fucking do it. Just in case anybody.
I'm sorry. Am I not allowed to say fuck?
Oh, you can say fuck. Fuckity fuck.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
No, I'm just saying. You know, he's apologizing in a Bud Light.
No, Stache is very upset that we have a statement on the screen. We have to remember that with the sports bar, it seems like we have more viewers on the or more listeners, I guess, on the podcast end of it, because I guess we're easier on the ears than the eyes.
Well, 9 o'clock on a Wednesday isn't always the best time for people to be getting on the sports bar, but hey, that's the time we have.
That's true. That's true.
And I'm sorry, Bud Light, but fuck you.
If Bud Light wants to reach out, I'm sure we can reach some agreements. I will drink Bud Light on the show every week.
I do have 3 cases or 3 boxes, however you want to call it, of the Bud championship Light. Bud Light beer, though, aluminum cans.
Look at this guy with the perfect segue.
We will be giving them away.
Oh, we need to talk about this. I reached out to you. I didn't realize that you were in my neck of the woods.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you. Yes.
Talking to the Stache? Yeah, I'm up north. No,
you were in Arizona.
Oh, I was. Oh, you're right. But I was sorry. I was very
drunk,
distracted because I drove out there in 37 hours.
Holy crap! What were you thinking about?
Well, then I moved my family back. So like my brother-in-law flew in from Chandler, and then
that was right there. My God!
I wish I would have known. Yeah.
You could have brought me Florida Man beer, man. We would have been.
I would have, dude. If I would have seen that, I did see that. It's too late. If I would have seen that in time, I 100% would have. But yeah, we made the mad dash out there in 37 and a half hours. Slept one night, woke up the next day, went and got a couple of U-Haul trailers, loaded them up, and left and made it back to Tampa in less than 3 days.
This is the midnight ride of Paul Revere here.
Hey, talk about fucking Smokey and the Bandit, bro.
You really
got here fast.
Bandit, you got your ears on, brother.
Oh yeah, we almost went to CBs. We used to go CBs back in the day. Whenever we would take two cars across country. Yeah, but anyways,
my handle was Taco Camp.
Yeah, that's a great one. That's a great one,
guys. By the way, almost an hour in, we've got past one topic. But hey,
so we need to move on and talk about something. This is my expertise right here, but go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. We're gonna speed through the hockey stuff because we are gonna sneak in a We the Thunder here.
I think next week is definitely going to be now that we have some real stuff to talk about, including some signings, some injuries, and a restart officially of the season. We will definitely be having a We the Thunder podcast in lieu of Sports Bar next week. We will be promoting the fuck out of that. We will be pimping the shit out of our own shit because that's what we do here, shameless self-promotion. That being said, real quick, let's definitely talk a little bit about the fact that we do have hockey officially. Hockey's back, but guess who's not? Cooch isn't back.
Uncle Cooch?
Not again. Cooch is out.
Cooch is out. Same kind of injury, I guess, Point had last offseason. He had surgery. Yep. Gord had the same hip surgery, and they've announced that Cooch is going to have hip surgery. So he's going to be out the regular season. But the silver lining in all of this is being on long-term injured reserve frees up the money. And Cooch makes a pretty penny.
It's all about
So the
Benjamin.
Lightning, all of a sudden, now they lose arguably their best player, but all of a sudden they're going to be cap compliant. And all of a sudden we saw a bunch of signings today of guys who I didn't think were going to come back.
Yeah.
The one missing piece is Sorelli, but from what I understand, the terms are in place. And they just have to kind of sign off on it. And I think another move still has to be made to get under the cap. But JBB says they're looking good now. But I guess the big news is we're back January 13th, game 1. We're playing against Chicago in our new temporary division, the Central Division. And the Central Division is ours to take, really, if you look at these teams.
Yeah, I agree. I've never liked playing teams like Detroit and Dallas on regular basis or stuff like that because they are definitely a different time zone. But that being said, I'm excited, man. I don't think Chicago is much to worry about. They're nothing like they used to be. Detroit, nothing. Dallas is our only real competition from what I can say. Columbus is going to be scrappy, but they're going to be vying for the lower seeds of the playoff bracket. Our only real challenge, I say, for number 1 is definitely Dallas. And again, I'm excited if it's a healthy Bishop. We get to see Bishop quite a few times in our 50 some odd game schedule, right?
56 games, so short season, and I'm all for it. I liked hockey's my favorite sport, but I liked like the MLB. I like baseball shortening their season, so I'm fine with shortened seasons. I always thought that the NHL and even NBA would.
I think 68 would be a good number of games, right? For the NHL. Like 68 to 70 games. I totally agree. If you go from 80 to 70,
I think you would protect your players. I think the longevity of players in the league would be greatly increased by shortening the season, to be honest. I just don't see how a large number of games is meaningful.
Well, I could tell you the number one reason why. Especially when you look at sports like the baseball, the NBA, and
baseball's a non-impact sport, so I can't compare the two. To be honest,
well, I'm talking about the number of games is revenue.
Right.
The more games you have, the more money you make because those leagues are all heavily dependent on in-game revenue, right?
But think about this.
Fans attending, concessions, ticket sales, the gate, the merch, all that stuff, right? That's what drives these leagues. The NFL is driven by global merchandise and TV deals.
Think about this right now, just real quick. I understand what you're saying, but could you imagine if you lessen the games, the NHL season? Do you think Wayne Gretzky or players that have been around for a long time playing such a physical sport would have lasted longer having shorter seasons?
I mean, I don't know, man, because if you really look at the great guys, they still are playing 18 years in this league. I mean,
but just
Chara is a defenseman and he's still playing. You know what I mean? So,
but I look at the punishment on your body because Shooty, you've played hockey. And how physically taxing hockey could be on your body. And just imagine playing a season with that many games. If you cut that in half, do you increase the lifespan of a great player?
I mean, you have to. It's just like any other sport. Less contact equals
right.
Like, okay, not even less contact. Like, I guess you basically measure, especially these sports, especially football and hockey, right? Especially
wear and tear
based on contact percentage, right? Like you only have this much contact in your body,
right?
Whatever your meter is. Not every person, not every athlete has that same well, right? Some guys could take this much, some guys could take this much, so whatever it is. We've seen that with guys that come in RG3. That guy could not take contact, right?
Softer than
other guys like freaking Drew Brees can take contact. Sure, he finally, after one major injury, after all these years of playing every game like a freaking Iron Man, got a rib injury. The dude's only 6 foot tall and tiny, and that's the first time he ever got a rib injury. You know what I'm saying? So no, I digress a little bit, but that's my point. Like, you only have so much contact in your career. So
right.
yes, it would definitely lengthen careers. Absolutely. There's no way you can't say no.
So does that is that and you know, we talk about the NFL protecting the shield. We talk about the NHL and what they try to do, and you don't want to take away from the integrity of the hockey game because it's very physical. And I think the average person that looks at hockey, you watch a game and you don't realize this goes on every single game. You're taking a beating. I
think hockey fans realize more than any other fan.
Yeah, 100%. And that to me is huge. If you cut down the number of games you have and make each game more meaningful, I think
10 games a season.
Yeah, you raise the level of play in some of these great players, and you extend their career. You extend the careers of some of these great players. But again, I'm not a coach. I'm not a GM. I don't know. But just as an outsider looking in, I love hockey. I love the physical contact. I love how the game flows and just the speed of the game. But I've always wondered, why would you have so many games when you could increase the tread on a player as opposed to just going through all these games and make each game more meaningful going into the Stanley Cup or going into the playoffs to get to the Stanley Cup?
Well, I think this might be actually the perfect time for the NHL to actually kind of come back to this. Okay. The only problem that we're looking at with the NHL is that this offseason, some casual fans might not know this, they just had a new signing of their CBA for the league and the NHL and the NHLPA. And so now if they were to go and negotiate change permanently the number of games played per season, there's a lot of restructuring that would have to go into that CBA.
But it would be well worth it, though.
No, I'm just saying there's that. I think it would be worth it, because even though, like I said, even with that in consideration, they're also right now renegotiating TV contracts.
Right.
2021 is the last year of their exclusive contract with NBC Sports or NBC. ESPN is very interested in getting back in with the NHL. Fox is very interested in getting back in with the NHL. If they can leverage, and also there's some networks in Canada that are their TSN deal is still through 2024, I believe. That is 3 times worth the contract they have with NBC. Canada Sports.
I think Fox should be the front runner. The way they work their analytics, the way they work, the way they've structured how they look at the game and break the game down. I think
they already have the local market. They're already like the Fox Sports local is still the number 1 local market. So NBC has the national. So since Fox already has the local network rights, it makes total sense that they would actually come in and be the number 1 national network because they have the most exposure to all the teams.
100%.
So ESPN knows that we've already talked about it. ESPN knows that they're going down. Like they are struggling as a network right now. So they need more content,
and they deserve every fucking ounce of.
I totally agree. I totally agree with you. But as a hockey fan, I want an ESPN carrying them again because they still do lend relevance to your sport and your league in this. No matter what, even though we don't like them, they still do. It's like you got a brand that you're out there trying to sell, and you don't really freaking want to sell out, but then you get on Amazon, and now you're like, okay, now you know what I mean. Now I'm actually making money because Amazon's carrying my product, or whatever.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Stache, let me ask you this right here, and because
exposure is only good for league. But okay, hold on. Let me get to what I'm saying though. Okay. If they renegotiate, that gives the opportunity then to get more money to these franchises. And then maybe they can cut 10 games off the schedule, right? Go from there. Right now they're playing 82 games, right? Maybe they could just go to 72 games. How much of a difference? That's almost 2 playoff series, right? Or even if you take off, let's say we do 14 games, right? or whatever, 12 games, something like that. If we just go from 82 to 70, okay?
Yeah.
And then the odd game or whatever it is, the home team gets the extra whatever. So then, like you said, you're saving bodies. That's an entire playoff series extra. So these teams, and we already call it the second season in the NHL for a reason.
100%.
The playoffs is so damn long. It's as long as the regular season for some teams almost. You know what I mean? So not as, but a half a regular season. So why not go ahead and do that? And you're right. The number one reason that they have 82 game seasons is because so many of these teams are relying on in-fan or in attendance revenue, fans in the seats, the revenue from having asses in the seats, even if they only have 20% capacity. I'm not even talking about the Lightning who are selling out every game for 4 or 5 years now. I mean, even these teams like Edmonton and Winnipeg that are only putting 30 or 40%, 20, 30%, still, that's what's giving them the margin to pay their staff.
Right. 100%.
So that's the difference. But if they have a bigger slice of TV rights, if there's more TV money, then they need less revenue from in seats. So maybe they are willing to give up 10 games a season. You know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you this right here. If each game is more important, if you cut down on the number of games you have, each game is more important. Kind of like the NBA. I look at some of the NBA games, and in the middle of the season, those games are meaningless. I think if there's more emphasis, if you go out, if you cut down the season, each game is more valuable. You have to go out and play. You have to go out and win these games to put yourself in a position to succeed. And
see, I think if you only took like 10 games from the NHL, it wouldn't make it that much more.
You're 100% right. It would probably have to be something more significant.
Which I don't think you need to. I don't think you need to take much more than that, honestly. I mean, think about it. Okay, so if you do the math, right? Do the math.
Okay.
Right? If you cut it down to 70 games from 82.
82.
Right?
Okay.
12 games. Right.
So we're
so
looking
from
at 72
to 70. Let's just that seems like a decent round number, right?
So we're looking at 70, right?
Right. So that's 12 games. 12 games a season. And you're talking about an average, if you're want to talk about the superstars, you're trying to elongate the career of the superstar players, 14, 15 years, right? Times 12. 10 years, that's 120. Plus another 4. So you're looking at another 3 seasons almost just by taking 12 games off the schedule.
100%, man. And then you're protecting your investment.
You don't need that much more than 10 or 12 games, right? That's what I'm saying. Like you're saying it needs to be more than. I don't think it needs to be more than 10 or 12 games. You know, over a set. So even if you do 10 games, let's make it easier math. 10 games from 82 to 72, 10 games a season, right? Right? 14 years, 14-year career. That's 140 games. That's 2 full seasons.
There you go.
That might elongate a player's career.
100%. I'm on board with that. My thinking.
What do you think, Judy? Here, me and Gene are sitting here like falling in love with each other. What do you got to say, Judy? What do you think about this?
Talk about it all day long, but they're gonna go back to 82 games next season.
I know next season, but I'm just saying maybe here on the next.
I'm talking about the NHL product itself. When you're talking about somebody, you've got all these good players and the wear and tear on their bodies, and you're playing what do we say? 82 games?
Yeah,
82 games. If you can decrease that to 72, that makes all the games that they play more valuable. And that intensifies, well, do I want to say intensify? That intensifies each game they play. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, every game's that much more important.
But for 10 less games, maybe. But I like that. I don't want to make the parity is good in the NHL. The amount of ability for teams to like turn it on late, they're adding 2 more teams in next year.
Yeah, and I guess for me, and the reason I'm saying this is for the fans. I want the fans to be able to say, "Okay, we went out, we saw a great game," and another set of fans comes out. We saw everybody gets a great game. You get your best because these games are more valuable in getting into the playoffs to vie for the Stanley Cup. And I think that's what kind of gets when you have this long of a period of a season.
I'm going to disagree with you on that.
Okay.
Because you can last the players, and I'm just saying this is based on my experience as a hockey fan.
Uh-huh.
They'll say every point matters. They will tell you that game 1 matters compared to game 82. Like they even late in the season, they say that's why, hey, you don't want to get off to a slow start. Every point matters. Like they will. You can go back and say every point matters. So it will still matter now or then. 10 games more, 10 games less. Every point matters just as much.
So if you so right there to your point,
change is the health and longevity. I think exposure to contact. That's the thing that changes. The number one thing that you're really talking about, exposure to contact.
So to your point, if you took 10 games off of the schedule, that makes every single game you've played more important than what it was.
I mean, yes and no. Yes and no. I think they're all equally important. But I'm not trying to diminish you whatsoever. I'm just saying that the number one point here is that you nailed to begin with. Your lead point was the number one point. Less exposure to contact will definitely elongate a career. That's it. But Shooty shoots and I are right though. It's all about the money. And the more times you have the exposure to your fans coming in your arena and spending money in your arena, that's just good business.
You're 100% right.
And guess what they're doing to make up for it? We saw the NBA do this a couple years ago, but guess what's coming to a helmet near you?
That's right.
The old Prudential Center is going to be on those jersey helmets. They've already announced the Capital One.
Like the neighbor, State Farm is there.
Yeah.
Well, so, the arena sponsor, and I don't mind that as long as you limit it just to the sponsor of the arena on the helmet. I'm okay with that.
Whoever's putting up the most money. So we'll see if Amelie steps up and we see Amelie on the helmets. But this is going to be the.
I think Amelie should have been on the jerseys and the helmets. To be honest,
I agree.
I think once you go past this kind of branding element, like you're not going back. Like they're not going to put that money back.
Why don't they?
You're seeing the Euro. Yeah, you're not going to touch it around, and you're seeing the Euro leagues. So I mean, I don't mind it.
Why don't they have the Amelie Arena on the jerseys? That's where you're playing. That's your home.
They don't put branding on the NHL jerseys. Out of the North American sports, it's only the NBA that's really started it.
Yeah,
but I think it's going to catch on eventually.
No, this is the beginning right here. They won't go back.
Dude, I mean, think about this, dude. You look at the Euro leagues, all of them, not just the NHL, but look at the European soccer. You don't even know what team is playing because it's advertising on the jersey. It's not the actual team's crest or anything on the front. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't like
me either, and that'll never happen in America. I don't think that'll ever happen in U.S. sports because the branding of the trademark of the team logo is still more valuable than any other sponsor's brand. You know what I mean? That's the way we built it. That's the way we built it in America. It's different in European leagues and in Europe, but in our country, that's the way we built it. But that being said, you're definitely going to start seeing a lot of more branding on uniforms and helmets and whatnot. So,
so we will get into hockey next week. We'll go the deep dive, talk about the moves the Bolts have made. We just don't have time right now. The reason why is because I want to get to some jack boxing.
Yeah,
if we can get a game going.
Jack it up.
So if anyone's out there, it looks like we got some people out there. Tim says go Bolt. Stephen Raleigh, I know that guy, says, "Hey Santa, have a great Christmas." Hey, it's Shooty Claus.
Okay? Shooty Claus.
Get it right.
Hashtag.
But yeah, even Steven, Tim, whoever else is out there,
Steven.
You guys can play. Even Steven, you can play along with us.
Shia.
To play Jackbox, what we're gonna do is go offline for a minute and then come back on. But let's do this last topic.
Foremost.
Let's do. We'll skip the last one there, but let's move on.
Let's move on to some
next
gaming.
Some gaming. Why don't you give us a little Cyberpunk 2077 update? You're how many hours in, and you're on what system, and what are your thoughts?
Well, for those who haven't listened, let me do a quick recap. Midsummer, right in the height of the pandemic and nothing being manufactured around the world, my Xbox One Elite decided to crap out on me. So I had to scramble and overpay for an Xbox One X Cyberpunk 2077 limited edition console on eBay. I didn't overpay too much, but I did go for it. So that's what I'm working with. That's my kit. You saw the controller. I can't take my webcam down and show you the console. It is freaking sweet. I'm telling you, it is really cool. But this is the Cyberpunk controller, Xbox One edition, Xbox One X. So that's what I'm running. Vizia or Roku TV HDR. It's beautiful to me. It's beautiful. There's a lot of things that people talk about, but being a gamer from OG all the way back, this game's fantastic just to play. It's buggy, sure, but it's incredibly overambitious. People are not giving it enough credit for how ambitious this game is. It's literally every game almost that I've ever played all wrapped into one. And I'm barely 20 hours into it. And I was telling you, Shitty, before we came on, I think I easily could have got 100 hours of gameplay before I even hit the title screen and got through the prologue to the heart of the story. That's how deep this game is. And I, for one, I'm loving it, man. I'm like McDonald's, and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I've had a total of 4 full-on crashes to my home screen, but again, I'm working with the Xbox One X, and I timed it, and it's 2 minutes between crash and right back into my game, right wherever it crashed. So it's only 2 minutes for me to reload and get back to where I was. So for me, it's not that big of a inconvenience.
Yeah. So I've been playing it, and I've noticed a couple bugs.
And you have a One X, right? You have the brand new.
I have a Series X, yeah. And I see the little bugs here and there, but I don't think I'm seeing the stuff that people on like PS4s and Xbox, regular Xbox Ones
or
are.
Xbox One S.
I see like the weird stuff. Like somebody is like kind of like in the Matrix, that I walk by, or the car looks weird. And for the most part, it doesn't bother me. I mean, there's some times where I'm like, this probably shouldn't be working like this, and it's kind of like, what the heck? But like, that's normal.
I did encounter a busted mission, like a series of busted missions right now, and so I'm gonna try and like get on social media and tweet at CD Projekt Red and see if anyone else has experienced this yet or not. But I did get to a series of missions today that they're broken, but I mean, and like I said, and every time I've had a actual system crash, or not system crash, but the game crash has been transitioning into an actual main mission from doing a bunch of series of side missions. And then if I go back into going right into a main mission, then it basically crashes and I have to reboot. If I keep doing main mission and stay on it, I haven't had a problem.
Yeah.
So,
interesting. I don't think I've played it enough. We'll see how the rest goes. But as far as like Xbox versus PlayStation, I have had them both. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I stuck with Xbox, like I'd get a PS5, but the sole reason why I stuck with it is because I have a I have a PC that, by the way, if people don't know this, Xbox games you can play on PC. And actually, I don't even know if you know this, but me and the Stache have sweet ass phones.
Yep.
I can play Xbox on my phone.
Yeah.
At 120 hertz too. Like it's gonna look sick too. So you can play Xbox on your phone. But the real reason why I stuck with Xbox was because the last PlayStation I had was a while back, and I buy digital games. So for me to make the switch now to PS5, the PS5 looks cool as shit. Don't get me wrong. I like them both. I want them both. But like for me to get a PS5, it just didn't make sense. Like I have so many games in my library that I can just have access to. I got to download them first, but I have access to them. So at this point, it's like I'm sold on Xbox, and I like some of the things that they're doing where I can play my games on my PC. I can play them anywhere, and I can, like the other kind of thing that they do with the next gen is the quick start. Like it's amazing. Like I can be in Cyberpunk in less than a minute, seconds.
No, yes, and I don't know how PS5 does, but you're absolutely right. I like right now, I was playing earlier in the middle of my game. I didn't have to do anything, go to menu or anything. I just held on my home button, turned off my console, walked away. As soon as I pick up my controller right now and push the power button on and it turns on my console. I push one button and I'm playing the game right where I left off 8 hours ago yesterday, as long as I haven't launched another application in between that runs on the same part of the RAM. Because I mean, I can watch Netflix and then go back and my game will be right up. But if I watch a demo or a video like from like the network, or if I go and play another game, then I have to relaunch it. But yes, absolutely, I can jump right back in without even batting a flash of an eye.
Yeah.
And you saw, I'm sorry, I put up this comment earlier from Aiden, and I appreciate what he's saying, but I do not disagree with better support. Or I do not agree with better support. Xbox Live changed the game for online gaming. It changed the entire world when it came to online gaming. And Xbox Gold, giving away free games 2 a month, unheard of. And it's less than $14. It's it's a little bit more now, but back then it was only $10 a month.
Well,
now you get Ultimate. Now you get Ultimate Game Pass included with 15
games.
Right, for $15 a month, you have access to hundreds and hundreds of games.
And there's good games on there.
They're all great.
There's a lot of crap, but
I mean, but the other thing is, though, they're really good at supporting the community of indie gamers too. PlayStation does not support indie gamers the way that Microsoft does. They're way more accessible to programmers and stuff like that. They don't necessarily have the same licensing. They're a lot more selfish about who they allow to license products, like Big Time. You know what I mean? Big Time licensing. But
yeah,
but they definitely support the indie gamer a lot better.
I do agree with Aiden, though, that there are some games on PlayStation that I wish I had access to. I think they definitely have an edge in the exclusives. Like the one kind of adventure game that's one of their flagships looks really cool. I've never played any of them.
Uncharted, yeah.
And that's like right up my alley.
Yeah, for sure.
They've got the show, which I when I was a kid, I used to love playing baseball games.
That's always my favorite.
There's none on Xbox. There's like
none.
God of War, really cool ass game.
Yep.
So I would give them the edge there. But
most for Final Fantasy game,
like specs of the hardware, and the one thing I'll say to people that are like dying to get one of these machines is wait. To be honest with you, besides what I said, where I can play Call of Duty, get pissed off because I'm getting whooped by some 13-year-old, and then go straight back into my Madden game where I'm in the second quarter of whooping the Saints ass with the Bucs franchise. Like I can literally.
So you got.
I'm there.
Yours is different then. So yours is different. So you can go between two games then.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So
and there's no load time. I'm back where I started.
Okay.
Like in the game, like
where you left. Okay.
Immediately. Yeah, it is an immediate thing, and that's probably the best thing as far as graphics. I mean, these video games can't get much better. Like,
no.
That's what you used to look for in old generations. It was like, oh damn, look at the new Xbox. Look at Xbox 360. Look at Xbox when it first came out. It was like game changer. Like this doesn't look like pixels anymore.
Black. Yeah.
And at this point, like they can't get much better. Like, what else are they gonna do? So
yeah, it's all about immersion at this point now. It's not even about like how it looks. And that's the other thing too. People are tearing this game apart about graphics and all this shit. Dude, again, fuck you, man. I remember playing Nintendo. I remember playing Atari 1200 or whatever the fuck it was. The very first Atari. I remember that. Pitfall. You guys remember Pitfall? Original Pitfall? Shit, yeah, dude. Come on, man. You guys remember original Gauntlet?
But it was fun.
Yep.
It was
2D as hell. You were just like 5 blocks. And
it was fun, though.
5 blocks. It was amazing. Still amazing. You know why? Because video games are fucking awesome. That's why.
Again, it comes down to your personal preference.
I totally agree. But you know what? I'm
going to jump on my soapbox real quick because I've been listening to you guys.
I want to throw in the Switch, by the way. I want to throw in Nintendo Switch for this because if you guys haven't messed around with the Nintendo Switch, you
Zelda
need to.
Is bomb as hell.
I haven't got there yet. I just got my boy the Nintendo Switch as a pre-Christmas.
Ground him and take that Nintendo Switch and play Zelda.
Yeah, I can't wait to get. I remember playing Link's Awakening on OG Game Boy, so I can't wait to get Link's Awakening on the Switch. But I also can't wait for the actual regular real Zelda game that just came out too. So you go, Gene.
So for me, I'm really disappointed in Xbox and PlayStation and Sony. And disappointed in both of them. these games should be going out to the consumer. The fact that they have not put CAPTCHA in on the ordering forms and they're allowing all these fucking bots to come in and buy these games is bullshit. They need to fix that shit. And you do that in good faith for the people that have been, they've been longtime followers of Xbox or longtime followers of Sony. You need to fix this. This is ridiculous. You go into Walmart, GameStop, you go into Best Buy. They should all have CAPTCHA on their systems. When you order something, you should have to fill out a CAPTCHA form so these fucking bots can't buy these games and charge you triple and quadruple of what the game is worth on eBay or on Amazon. It's crazy.
Right. Well, the one thing that I think hurt this year or this release so much was COVID, because manufacturing got hit hard. The places where these computer chips are being manufactured, the places where some of the components are being manufactured, couldn't manufacture the number of consoles and units that I think they wanted to. So that being said, you're absolutely right, though. I totally agree. I agree the same thing with tickets, the same thing for event tickets, for music, and all these people that are able to come out and buy tickets en masse, buy units of whatever en masse, and then go back and scalp them, black market them. I am all about capitalism. That's not capitalism, bro.
No, it's not.
That's just being fucking shady, and that's just being fucking lazy, and that's just
not good faith. That's not good faith to the people that are going out here
being a fucking dirtbag.
And they've been religiously following Sony. They've been religiously following Facebook or
Microsoft, like me.
Microsoft, exactly.
Yeah. It does suck, but
the script for CAPTCHA is not that hard. All you have to do is drop that in there, and it may take you, I would say, at most 3 hours.
Yeah. The problem
I agree, man. So
capitalist environment, and guess what?
But at the end of the day, it's about good faith for the people that are going to continually follow you.
They don't care about good faith.
They care about sold the fuck out, didn't they? They still sold out, right? They sold every unit they made.
As much as capitalism is important, capitalism isn't the best thing in the world. It really isn't. But
you have to consider, though, what kind of capitalism this is.
No, I don't. Okay, listen. I'm going to pump the fucking brakes right now. Scream! This is the sports bar, baby. This is the sports bar. What do you don't talk about in the bar? Politics and religion. Let's move on, baby. Let's move on. I love you guys. But I'm going to say right now, we did Nintendo a disservice because we did not put them up there. Because guess what? That Switch is hard as hell to find, and that bitch has been out for a couple of years. You know what I'm saying? You can't even hardly get a Switch.
Right now, get a Switch.
Depends on which one you go to. Depends on who's shopping. I doubt a Walmart's got one.
I can go to the hood right now and get one.
Okay. Sorry. I got lucky walking into a Target up here, up in the north and north or south North Pasco, whatever, Matt. And I was shopping for something else and happened to see the Switch sitting right there, and I was like, okay, I got to pull the trigger because you couldn't find them anywhere else. I missed out on Sam's, had a great deal, and I hemmed and hawed, and I didn't take advantage of it, and they sold out before I could get one. So, but now my kid's out there playing Mario like a champ, and I'm like, I'm so proud. So proud of my 4-year-old kid crushing Mario.
You may need to ground him.
Let's leave the topic at this. If anyone's like really upset that they didn't get the new PS5, the new Xbox, I'm telling you, I got it, and it's underwhelming.
So you got both of them?
And I wanted to go back to this. See, and this is what I wanted to go back to, and I guess we can wrap it up here because you brought it back.
Yeah.
Remember, almost 8 years ago now, 7-8 years ago, when the Xbox One came out, Shooty?
Yeah.
You and I both. Through Microsoft, had day one edition Xbox One consoles. First time in my entire life I had ever gotten a game console on release day. I was always that kid in the neighborhood that had the last generation. When like kids were getting Sega Genesis for Christmas, I got the Nintendo, right? They got the freaking PlayStation. I was getting a freaking Sega Genesis, whatever. You know what I mean? I was always the one console behind. So I was in my 30s, and I finally said, okay, I'm spending the $600 whatever freaking dollars it was, and we got it. And the first phone call that Judy and I had with each other was like, well, now what games are we going to play on this fucking thing? And it took almost 2 years for me to finally be like, oh, yeah, this is fucking worth it. Like, it literally almost took me 2 years to feel like having this console was worth it. And here I am 8 years later, 4 versions of the console later.
Right.
5 versions of the console later. I have probably the very last newest version that they'll ever make of the Xbox One. And it's performing as well as the Xbox Series X right now. So that should tell you everything you need to know right now as a gamer. Wait 2 years. Go find the latest edition of an Xbox or PlayStation, Xbox One or PlayStation 4 that you can, the most recent edition that they can, and ride that shit out for the next couple years. And then eventually the market will catch up, the consoles will be there, the games will be there, and it'll be worth it. And you'll probably still pay the same price. It'll probably still be the same price 2 years from now.
Yeah.
But you'll be in a better situation and you won't feel like you have wasted your money for 2 years.
You know what? If you're kind of searching, like I'm always searching for I'll say that high, but it's kind of like I'm always searching for like that, like something that's going to excite me, right? And guess what? It's not a PlayStation. It's not. It might be a PlayStation. It might be a Switch. It might be an Xbox for you guys. But I'm always looking for like next generation for like something different, something innovative. And I can tell you right now, Xbox and PlayStation 5 ain't it. But guess what? You can go buy for $299. Go buy yourself a virtual reality Oculus set, and you will feel that feeling of this is different from anything else I've done, because I didn't put on a virtual reality set for probably 10 years because it sucked, right? You put on virtual reality, it's like polygon looking figures. It's like they didn't pay attention to the graphics. It was like someone just kind of threw this together. This shit's legit now with the Oculus. I know it's made by Facebook, and you know I've got my own.
Made by Facebook. It's not made by Facebook.
Well, it's owned by Facebook.
It's now owned by. It's still made by the same company that made it to begin with. They just Facebook's like, hey, we like what you're doing. We want to give you more money to make it better.
Facebook. The thing is, you have to have a Facebook account to sign into it, which people hate. But anyway, like you put this thing on.
Hashtag. I'm sorry. We're on your network. Never mind. You're awesome.
You feel like you're no. We'll get to that in a second. Well, you feel like you're in a different world. It's so weird to put this thing on and look at your hands moving, and you see them. Like, Stache, come over this weekend and I'll put you in it. It really. Your wife
doesn't allow me in your house anymore.
We can do it outside. It blew my mind when I put this thing on for the first time. I was like, holy crap. This is what I wanted when I bought a new Xbox. I wanted this
commercial I've been watching the most. I'm not going to lie. And just like you, though, just like you said, every time I see the commercial, I'm like, oh my God, it looks awesome. And then I see by Facebook and I'm like, oh, you fucker.
Anyway, let me make a programming note on Facebook here before we wrap up. I posted that Frosty the Snowman video a week ago today. And as I sometimes do with our videos, I tie a charity button to it, which Facebook lets you do. I had at least 2 or 3 donations. We had some donations there. I went on there a couple days ago. That number was back down to 0. I have no idea what happened. I contacted Facebook. They can't tell me where your money is. So the people that donated, it doesn't come through us at all. Facebook doesn't. I've asked them to tell me where it's going so I can tell you all where it's going. Facebook might have your money. I don't know. I don't think it's right. I'm pissed off about it, but what am I supposed to do? I don't know.
This is how we get content, because Shooty likes to not to tell me the shit till we're on the air, just so you can know like he gets a reaction.
Dude, that is really messed up, right? Like seriously, I knew because I knew we had at least 3 donations. I saw 3 donations. One person told me that they donated, and I go back in there like Monday or Tuesday, and we're down to 0. And I'm like, what happened to the people that donated? And I contacted Facebook. We'll open a case. You've got to open a case.
We have
I'll
to.
never hear back from them.
She's on the
I
case.
got to ask a question. And this
One.
is totally off subject here.
You get one.
One question.
Go.
HBO Max. What is the difference?
I just got HBO Max.
$15 a month.
I just got HBO Max. No, HBO Max has a couple more programming options for you.
Why
but
the
if you
hell can't I get HBO Max then? I got it off of so I went out and researched it. I look online and I'm thinking, okay.
You got it for free, Shooty?
I did.
No, I
AT&T.
went through Prime. Amazon Prime.
Okay.
So Amazon Prime, they were like, yeah, if you get HBO through Amazon, you're getting HBO Max. But I haven't seen anything about Wonder Woman.
No. That comes out Christmas.
You guys smell that?
From what I understood is you have to actually get the HBO Max app to get all the HBO Max content. If you sign up to another provider, you only get the HBO content. HBO Max has some other like exclusive content and some other agreements to have like South Park and some other stuff on there. Overall, though, I mean, you could probably get away with just the HBO. But I was excited because I switched my phone service to AT&T, and as part of their contract, they're including HBO Max.
New customers. Not whenever I got my S20 back in June. Yeah, well, I agree, but listen, they are the least of the devils, if you ask me, when it comes to cellular providers. So.
Well, you know what's funny is Carly was on a different contract. We've never been on the same contract.
Carly.
Like, all right. Let's
Mrs. Shooty.
No, I have one with my kid Landon on Verizon, and Carly had
government name today. Wow,
Shooty Claus
is drunk. Everybody, Shooty Claus is drunk. He's using his family's government names.
Wait a minute. Hold on. iCarly. I love iCarly. This is my favorite show.
No, that's his wife.
That's my girl.
Yeah. Do you know that? Hey, fun fact, everybody. I don't know. We've talked about this before, but Shooty's wife and I have the same birthday. We're not born on the same day. I'm older, wiser, better looking, but we do have the same actual birthday.
That was discussed on the first ever podcast that we did. Actually,
we did talk about it before.
There is no iCarly then.
So Carly has Sprint, and Sprint merged with T-Mobile. So we went to T-Mobile to see if we can all get on the same plan. And they were like, Carly, you have a Sprint plan. And because it's now like T-Mobile, you have to get a new phone number. So anyway, that led to us.
That's a lie.
That's what we were in the store, and that's what they told us. And we basically could have went with that and kept the same phone number. But I wanted to have her get a new phone as part of this. So we end up going to Verizon. Verizon's got 2 people working there and 15 fucking people there. And that's who my carrier was. So Verizon, so long, you just lost me as a customer because I went across the street to AT&T, got my HBO Max, got my bomb ass phone, the S20 Ultra, and got the I need to probably say this quietly, got the kids some phones too. And
hey, don't say if they're getting them for Christmas. Don't say anything.
They are.
They'll probably go back and watch them.
They're asleep by now. And then Carly got the iPhone 12, which they didn't have in stock, but they're shipping that out to her. So
I'm thinking about switching an iPhone.
AT&T's the my new provider. Okay. Sorry,
they're the devil.
I'm not a huge fan either, but they hit the jackpot with me this weekend.
You know what? Maybe we need to open up our own phone line service.
Let's call it Cricket Wireless. Actually, here's what I really want to do. If anyone out there is listening to this and is a developer of software, my goal in life is now, and this is going back to the VR stuff, my goal in life is to start a company that is VR for nursing homes and for retirement homes. I want to target that market. And a lot of those people love to travel, but they're old. And now these days they're worried about getting sick. I want to set up VR for just that generation so that they can go to visit Egypt or whatever. And all they have to do is get the software, the hardware, plug in, and they're there. There's a market for that. So if anyone knows
Yeah, no
how to
shit.
develop software,
Bro, why do you think fucking Facebook bought Oculus?
well, that's what I want to dedicate my life.
Oculus plus Portal equals what the fuck you're talking about right now.
Facebook's going down though.
No, Zuckerberg's going down. Facebook isn't going down.
Unless
Someone will come and buy. Listen, someone will come buy Facebook from him as he's failing and has to completely gut, and that's what's going to happen, dude. That's what's going to happen.
one more.
Game
We do
over.
not. No, fuck you. We do not apologize to Facebook, and you don't apologize to Facebook. Fuck Facebook.
Facebook can shut down our page at any moment.
Fuck Facebook.
Yeah, and what do we lose? Really? Fuck, we'll still do it for all three of our viewers
all
on
of
YouTube.
our online friends. All of our online friends.
Well, all of our viewers tonight have all come from not Facebook, except for one. So whatever.
I think there's a couple people watching on Facebook right now. But that's
Are there really?
Me. Which because I forgot to close the page earlier when I was sharing the fucking show.
Guys, if you are watching on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, go ahead and jump in the chat. Jump in the chat, please. We need to hear from you, seriously.
Actually, we need to not because it's already an hour and 42 minutes. It's time to move the fuck on. But I was gonna say, welcome and thank you for coming on, Gene. This was a great show.
I've enjoyed myself.
I really enjoyed the three of us sitting down and having the chat. And I don't know, I was smelling something earlier.
With the rock,
smelling it, but I was smelling maybe a new show somewhere in the future. You know, maybe somewhere. You know, maybe not. Maybe not.
Mine is
Not like a super hard commitment, but maybe like, you know, once a month or something like that. The three of us get together and rap for an hour or two. You know what I mean?
bro. That would be amazing.
I would enjoy it. I don't give a shit if people will listen to it. I would just have fun doing it. So I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna put it out there.
We need to do this. This needs to be like a commandment or something.
Like once a month, like we're doing tonight. Let's get the three of us together, do a show, and then after that, right into some Jackbox.
Exactly. And I've got a bunch of this right here for when the Bucs win the playoffs. I've got a bunch of this right here, and I will be drinking champagne. And I'm drinking champagne out of a wine glass because I'm a heathen. I don't care.
I love right now that I've got my second or my third screen on Fox Sports, and it's replaying the Lightning Road to the Cup. After the replay of the Bucs victory last week, it went right into Lightning replay of the playoffs.
And
I love feeling like a champion.
The Lightning, I have a direct message from somebody who I'm not connected with on Twitter
for the Tampa Bay Lightning
at Russian98 messaged me a tweet to an article about Cirelli signing tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I don't see a check mark or anything next to this, but you know what? When random Russians message me, I believe them because I'm down with the Russians.
Dude,
they will never lie on the internet. There's nothing shady about Russia and the internet.
I know where you live.
It would be a first.
It would be the first time ever. Russia used some kind of box.
FedEx truck outside your house. Just
Schwans.
Prepare for the worst. Just
all
that's
right,
all.
Well, let's wrap up the holiday episode for now. It sounds like we're gonna be full on.
It's almost like a double episode
next week.
Almost a full on double episode right now.
Full on.
Yeah, 3 topics, an hour and 45 minutes. God, if you're still listening to this, God bless you. God bless you.
Yeah, you are the real. You are the real. Whoever's listening to this, you are the real MVP.
You're the hero.
It used to be Kevin Durant's mother. It's now you. So
that said, are heroes.
Go check out at Buck What You Heard. Bucks Report Wednesday nights, Friday nights. Are you the new Peter Blake? Are you going to go 3 nights a week, 4 nights a week?
No, there's only one Peter Blake. I'm just Gene Thomas, the guy that drinks all the time and he talks a lot and uses a lot of profanity.
Gino Grigio.
Exactly. Card carrying heathen. That's me.
That's why you're welcome here as far as I'm concerned. We're in the same club.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, everyone, have a safe, fun holiday.
Merry
Enjoy your Christmas. Remember, you can cheer for the Saints to lose on Christmas afternoon. And then you got the Bucks Saturday at 1 p.m. Don't miss it.
Just real quick. I wanted to talk about this. I was looking at the schedule earlier. Do you guys think? And this is just going to be a segue for next week. We'll bring it up next week. See what happens this weekend, right? I could see the Bucs winning the last 2 games. Can you guys see the Saints losing to the Vikings and the Panthers?
Yes.
That means the Bucs win the division.
The Panthers are a division rival. So yes.
If the Bucs win out and the Saints lose out, the Bucs win the division. If they tie, the Saints get it because they're undefeated. If they tie and they have the better division record, so they will win the division. But if they lose 2 and the Bucs win 2, that means the Bucs have a better win-loss record by 1 game, and they win the division.
Merry Christmas.
Food for thought.
You know, I need to get back with NFL Jesus about this. I'll
On that note, well, hey, you might have to give up your Pinot Grigio for that one, my friend.
No, just beer.
On that note, Shooty, this has been the Sports Bar. What you got to say?
Cheers, big ears.